What do you think is happening in the Dolphins locker room right now, Marcus Spears?
Rich, it's funny, man. It's probably hard to dissolve as a football team because they actually played well up until the end of the game. You go on the road against Buffalo, you're in position to have a chance to tie the game up and presumably try to win the game. And obviously, Tua throws the big interception late, and Josh comes out and seals it. But last week, obviously, it was so much talk about those guys having a players only meeting and having these conversations. But ultimately, this thing is about wins. And I know people say no moral victories, but they showed up in Buffalo against a divisional opponent and played well for three and a half, three and three-fourths of a quarter. But I gotta imagine, Rich, with all of that positivity that I just gave you, that they're reeling a little bit. Especially when you get to a certain point where you're trying to decipher between if your team is good enough to make the playoffs or should we blow this thing up and start all over. And I'm not sure if that involves Tua. I'm sure that involves Tyreek Hill and trying to figure out the direction in which this organization is going to go. And these type of games are actually make it harder. Now, hear me out, Rich.
Yep.
When you go and have a really good performance like that, and the guys that you've paid a lot of money played very, very well in the game, and you think about all of the things that you would have to do if you were saying, all right, we're going to disband this thing and try to rebuild it. One, you're obviously going to take a step back on offense. I firmly believe that unless you're telling me they're going to get another prolific guy like Tyreek Hill in the building. Two, defensively, we all see that they got to get better on defense. So it's kind of like a reset button there. You got some good, really good players on that side of the ball, but you're going to have to do a lot of work to improve that unit. So again, man, I think it's a very perplexing situation. I think last night made it more difficult for you to just say, look, we're going to blow it up and get ready for another season. But I also believe that how long do you want to waffle in this parts unknown? Shout out to my man, Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace. But again, brother, I just think it's a difficult time to be a Miami Dolphin and a fan because – Rich, you've been doing this longer than me, and I've been doing it long enough to know when you really don't know the direction of an organization and a team, that's probably the worst place to be. You either need to be bad, so everybody acknowledges that we need to completely do something different, or you need to be a couple pieces away potentially where you can try to go and add those in free agency in the draft. But to kind of be waffling in the middle with some really good players on offense and defense, you got rid of some really good players on defense as well, and kind of you in that gray area, and that's the worst place to be to me as a team in the NFL.
Well, again, I was talking about at the top of the show here, Marcus, is that two of Mike McDaniel's captains, for the lack of a better phrase, let him down.
Let him down.
Where Zach Sealer puts Josh Allen back on the field with a roughing the punter penalty.
Yep.
It's a de facto turnover. I mean, that doesn't show up in the turnover column, but it was a turnover.
Absolutely.
And then Tua, I mean, Mike McDaniel said in his own way, he made the wrong throw. Should have been the flat. He threw a brutal interception. And otherwise, the question about whether McDaniel has the locker room, they came out and hit the Bills in the mouth. Also with a brilliant first half closing drive.
Yep.
And they had the game right there. So I don't know what you do if you got to stay the course if you're the Dolphins right now. And I understand that is an issue. If you do need to rebuild or you want to hit that button. But the last thing you want to do also is fire a coach, fire a GM, and then start from scratch. No ownership wants to go through,
don't want to do it.
A search and all of that sort of business, and also admitting that they were wrong. No one wants to do all of that.
Rich, it's like the way you just explained it is why I think it's so difficult. Right. Like you look in your division, Buffalo is going to be good for a long time. And it looks like New England is starting to kind of show them signs of trying to get back right. We know when they hire Vrabel, this team is not going to take long to get really, really good. And I think sometimes we talk about it, and obviously the Jets and with Aaron Glenn, and we'll see, in which direction they go. I think if they get a quarterback, they can start to kind of count on things with them as well.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.